What's up guys, this is Astronaut showcasing a review of Ram from the ReZero collaboration. I have a lot of stuff to talk to you guys about. To see the full picture, you really need to, hear me out, watch the full video. So I have her on a plus 15 build. She doesn't have any memory imprint. I have her on counter immunity on her own artifact, and she's built on a slow build. And she hits really hard with these stats. Of course, she doesn't have any speed, but she counters like crazy. This hero is broken good. Like, it's crazy how powerful she is when she goes into demon mode, which you can literally call God mode. So this artifact, you can do some very powerful things with that. And it actually allows you to cut before Arbiter Vildred goes when he dies. So that is really juicy when it does happen. That's the stats of the heroes that I bring along with her. A lot of different team compositions. I'm running her on the slower side. My team is slower, like bruiser heroes that I bring with her. She's not considered a bruiser. She doesn't have enough health the way I've built her, but I really want to have a health percentage ring or boots instead of attack percentage to try her out later on, because she's squishy, but I want to demonstrate how much damage she's able to do with these stats. So a lot of players will have to, sacrifice even more of ability to be able to pull off these stats. And yeah, on a counter set, the greatest thing about it is that when you are in demon mode, the skill 1 attacks twice, and if you counter attack, it will attack twice, and the first attack could land defense break, and then the second one you hit versus a defense broken target. That is crazy dangerous, and how much damage you can deal with that is ridiculous, because you just shredded 70% of their defense. So to see the full picture, like I said, you want to watch this video till the end, guys. Let me do some reactionary comment with what's going on the screen. So I'm using my combo, right? I'm using Ilanab, I'm putting crit damage buff on my whole team. The damage that she's doing is pretty solid, and she doesn't even have attack buff yet. Now the skill 3, she applies attack buff on herself before even dealing damage. That is super overpowered right there. 3-turn attack buff, she gets 50% combat shootiness when she uses skill 3 with her artifact as her comet. Together, that's up to 74% combat shootiness, so you can almost go, like, it's really close to going back to back, So even on a slow build, you're gonna be able to do some really crazy burst damage because of that, and you have attack buff as well. And if, you down someone, you go into demon mode, and then you're gonna be able to attack twice with skill 1, and if you apply defense break with the first attack, that target after the skill 3 and to skill 1 and to skill 1, that target is probably going down. That is some really insane damage. So I definitely want to talk about, pros and cons about this hero. There's a lot of pros, but, you gotta hear me out. There's some cons as well, of course. If you're looking for an emulator or a new phone, check the description of the video. You can notice the constant counter attacks happening. It's because of her skill 2 passive. This is an Elbrus Ritual Sword for Knight, the artifact built into her kit. So if you have on a counter set, it could be either the passive that triggers, or it could be the counter set on herself that triggers. So you're putting more chances on your side to, trigger a counter attack. And it is really dangerous what she's able to do. Like, you have her on a slower build, she's gonna, of course, hit harder, and that's great. And you can definitely build her on 15,000 health or more, around that, and have a decent amount of defense on her, counter immunity, great stuff. And you can notice, like, all the damage she's dealing throughout the battle, even without attack buff. Very powerful stuff. And I have some combos that I do later on, with dual attacks, which is extremely powerful with her. And the attack buff before she uses skill 3, so you can even have her on a speed build. Unfortunately, her speed is not the greatest, so you can't really go against, like, toe-to-toe versus a team that is really a speed team with speed imprint. She's not gonna work too well in that type of scenario. So you gotta be careful about where you bring her, and also, of course, in RT you're not gonna be picking her first. She's Ice, but she might be that good that you're going to be able to pick her early on. I'm not saying like maybe first pick, but maybe a second pick, or the best would be near the end if the enemy didn't pick her yet, right? So her strengths, right? Her pros, she ramps up, she snowball like crazy. She gets demon mode and then she just goes out of control. It's ridiculous. So demon mode is god mode for 2 turns. This thing has a 5-turn cooldown, so you gotta make it happen in those 2 turns. So I prefer to have her on a slower build because it's gonna, you know, extend the time it will take for her to get out of those 2 turns. And then she ignores effect resistance. She's immune to debuffs. So basically, you just constantly apply unhealable debuff when you counterattack with the passive, the S2, and then you reduce buff duration by 1 turn constantly. You got defense break on skill 1 that will ignore effect resistance. No more worrying about 15% innate resist. She's immune to debuffs during those 2 turns in demon mode. So like, Carrot, anyone that you think about that might be removing her buffs or stripping her, I mean, nothing can work because she's immune to debuffs and that demon mode cannot be removed. Skill 1 attacks twice, counter and dual attacks work. So if you trigger a counter with the skill 1, it will attack twice. If you get called into a dual attack, it will trigger twice. Ridiculous. And you can force dual attacks with heroes like Adventure, Raz, Sinful, Angelica, Kitty, Clarissa. Like, there's a lot of heroes that can do that, and it will allow you to do so many crazy things and have insane burst damage. Her self 3-turn attack buff is a massive deal. She's self-sufficient. You don't need to worry about bringing an attack buffer in the team. She could be your sole damage dealer, or you could have 2 heroes that are you know, they have their own attack buff or something like that, or you could have a bruiser that is scaling off of their maximum health for their damage, and you could have herself attack based damage dealer that has the attack buff in her kit, right? So if you build her slower, then you're gonna get you know, hopefully the demon mode ASAP, and you're gonna be able to do some great things, and you're gonna be able to do some counter attacks with attack buff on herself. Look at that damage, like constant stream of damage throughout the battle. It's ridiculous. So the issue with my team is that I don't have attack buff for a while, but it still goes to show you how powerful she is throughout the battle. So she's very helpful with the debuffs. The defense break on skill 1 is ridiculous. Now you got unhealable for 1 turn, reduction of 1 turn of their buffs, the enemy's buff for 1 turn when she counterattacks with the skill number 2. Decrease hit chance debuff on skill 3. Like, all these things are super helpful in PvP, but not only that, you can use her in PvE content, so she's going to be worthy of your resources. You can definitely go all out with this hero, and she's limited, of course, so you usually want to get limited heroes because even if they don't perform too well now, they might be overpowered when they get buffed, so remember that. But I don't think this hero is going to get buffed because she is broken. She's overpowered, guys. Like, when she goes into demon mode, that is ridiculous, the potential, what you're able to do, man. Completely ridiculous. So she's gonna be amazing with dual attack partners, like I talked about. I'll show that later on in the video. So 50% combativeness with the skill number 3, and then 18 to 24% combativeness from her own artifact. You don't need to have her using her own artifact. You could have her on Sigurd's side, and that would be some sustain, some much needed sustain. Actually, she would have performed pretty well on a Sigurd side, and it wouldn't have been so risky. And she's immune to debuffs when she's in demon form, so she can just heal. Don't have to worry about unhealable, of course. And of course, a big strength of this hero is that she's gonna be amazing for showcase videos. I mean, if you just show people when she just shines and she does her combo, the beautiful counter attacks and all that, she's gonna be really great. Now let me talk about the counters to this hero, right? You gotta hear me out. It's not all, you know, strength, pros. It doesn't go good the whole time. Earth heroes, she's ice, so of course that's gonna be a big weakness of hers. Now, heroes that don't trigger counter attack, Spectre Tenebria, Landy, Pavel, you know, Landy and Pavel are Earth, and she's Ice. So that's already really, really bad. So in RTA, be very careful when you pick Ram. If you don't kill anyone, guys, this is her biggest weakness by far. Biggest by far. You don't kill anyone, no demon mode for you. No Azure Comet, CR push, but it's really that demon mode that activates this hero fully. And you really want to go in that demon form to make her shine, to make her overpowered, broken good. It needs to happen. If you don't make it happen, well, she can still do okay, but it's not even on the same level of power. Like when she goes into it, she could be the most overpowered hero in the entire game. Like she's that good, and she has the attack buff in her skill 3, and she's almost ready to go again because of that 50% combativeness push, maybe wearing her own artifact. So you could be wearing other warrior artifacts on her, and I'm sure a lot of players will come up with different builds for her. You can definitely have her slower. You can definitely have her slower tank here, and she's still gonna output some really crazy numbers, and those counterattacks will be very reliable unless you're fighting heroes that cannot trigger counterattack. So be very mindful of that, and I'll bring her versus everyone, and I'll pick her first. But it's great that you can just bring her versus a carrot, right? And she goes into demon form, I mean demon mode, aka God mode, and then you're not gonna get any debuff on herself. But you really need to get into that that mode. That's the thing. That is definitely the biggest thing. Now, I really like that the team that I run her in, like, they're different, right? Initially, I'm running a lot of Ilinav, Alencia, and that gives you like defense buff, that gives her 50% crit damage, and it works really well because she's under 300% critical hit damage, so it pushes her damage even further. And you guys were able to see her with 15 skill ups. You guys were able to see her, you know, with some really crazy numbers, and not only like the counter attack happening from her passive, but the counter attack set on herself. So even if they attack her, she can counter that attack. If they attack the team, she can still counter attack. So it's almost better for the enemy team to just work on downing Ram first, because the counter attack from her passive are deadlier than normal counter attack. Let us know what you guys think about Ram in the comment section. But that's gonna be it for this one. I'm Astronaut. Good luck with all you do. Peace out for now.